Okay, so another way for us to solve quadratics is by using the quadratic formula. You know the quadratic formula, you've sung the song before, so I will sing it for you one time now, and we'll just practice a couple problems with it. So here we go. The song goes, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. There you go. There's your quadratic formula. Again, I don't love this. I like completing the square better, but when things aren't factorable, and if you're not used to completing the square, you may want to use this instead. It's just another choice. So here we go. Remember, we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So if we're going to use the quadratic formula, we'll have x equals the negative value of b. Negative negative 4 is 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared. Negative 4 all squared is 16, minus 4 times the a value, here is 1, times the c value is 2, all over 2 times the a value is 1. And then you clean it up. So x is 4 plus or minus the square root of 16. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, times 2 is negative 8. All over 2. So x is 4 plus or minus the square root of 8 all over 2. And then you have to simplify that square root. This is one of the reasons I prefer completing the square. You rarely have to simplify a square root. So if you're not very good at that, you don't want to use the quadratic formula because you often need to do that. 8 is 4 times 2. So this ends up being 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 is 2, and you need to leave the other 2 in the square root, all over 2. And then you need to simplify as much as possible. So this is really 4 over 2 plus or minus 2 root 2 over 2, which reduces 4 over 2 is 2, plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1, the square root of 2. Okay, and that's it. Now, you may notice that the problem we did yesterday, the first problem learning how to complete the square, was exactly the same, and we got exactly the same answer. But we didn't have to simplify a square root, and we didn't have to worry about dividing by this 2 in the bottom. So again, I prefer completing the square, but I want to show you both options. And tonight you'll practice the formula. Okay, one more example and we're done. So here we're going to solve 2x squared minus x minus 4 equals 0. Again, until you know it by heart, you'll want to write your formula each time. And I always hum in my head when I'm writing it. Here we go. X is negative b, and negative negative 1 is 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, negative 1 all squared is 1, minus 4 times a, here is 2, times c, here is negative 4, all over 2 times a, 2 times 2 is 4. Clean it up. X is 1 plus or minus the square root of 1. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 4 is positive 32, all over 4. So x is 1 plus or minus 1 plus 32 is the square root of 33, all over 4. I can't simplify the square root of 33, so we might as well just leave that alone. And again, that was question 4 from the should or could do, I guess, with completing the square yesterday. We got the same thing, so it's a nice check. And that is it. Have a good night.